The R.A.D. Live podcast is intended for mature audiences and contains explicit language. Listener discretion is advised.
3, 2, 1, 0.
We've been away for 6 months, I believe.
It's been 84 years.
Still, the fat man hasn't found his penis.
I've had a hair transplant in that time.
It won't grow back.
It won't grow back. Well, I'll tell you that.
Don't take the piss out of me. That flipped on me very fucking quickly, didn't it? Shitting hell.
Well, I do tell a slight lie. We had a Christmas special, but it's been a while since we've heard from Lewis. So, welcome back, sir.
Thank you. Yes. It's good to be back.
Yes, but I've decided this afternoon, as I was thinking about it. By the way, in case you don't know, I am your host, the captain of the ship. No longer the hat guy, because that hat guy was a dick. I am now SSF, stupid, sexy Flanders, and it feels like I'm wearing nothing at all. Especially in this shed, because it's fucking freezing. But hey.
Man the fuck up.
Yeah, man the fuck up, Booker Cup, I know. But yeah, joining me this week, hopefully this is going to be an ongoing thing, if I can, yes.
Be asked.
Wow, you've been outed.
Touche, sir, touche. But yeah, joining me this week we have the fat man himself, Alan Morrison.
Hello.
Ooh. We have the man who has the greatest quality of all and being not Daz. It's Anthony.
Yeah, buddy.
And originally he was called the Scouse one.
Mm.
But thinking about it this afternoon, I was thinking, do you know what? The Scouse one, it's a bit vague. It's not very personal. Right. And then I think back to a certain day. In October. A very special day for myself, which we'll probably cover a little bit of, where a certain gentleman, a certain gentleman turned up when he shouldn't have done. And so from this point onward, the man known as the Stowaway, Lewis Ogden.
I'm not here.
He's hiding somewhere. We don't know where he is.
Donate to us so it applies for his visa, please. Hey, I was going to say something else about something different. We'll get more money than the other person will get for their thing. We certainly get more than 35 quid from some people.
Fuck's sake.
Keep him in this country, please. Right, anyway.
Yes, thank you. How have we been doing? It's been a while. Thought of Al. Yeah, he wants to test out his new kit, so we'll test it first.
What?
Hey, we're off to a great start. This is a great start. It's so good.
Clearly the kit doesn't work very well.
Sorry, I'm drinking. Oh, the new headset. The new headset is shiny. It flashes.
He has new gear.
It's very, very nice.
So
arrived in the post this morning, so it was all good.
Yeah, have you checked it? Make sure it's all the Edward Lab.
Paid 23 quid for it, so I'm well happy.
That's all right. You don't need to spend too much as long as you're a good shopper. I mean, I've got a headset, a new Bluetooth headset, because I used to absolutely fillet Studio, if we all remember, and that headset is still going strong. It's a headset I'm using now, but the Bluetooth part of it has died. It's lasted a good while though, so fair play. But it's still working wired, so I use it as my sort of go-to podcasting headset because it's comfy as fuck. But I needed a new Bluetooth headset, and I got a Grundin one or something like that. It was like 17 quid off Amazon. It's fucking just as good, if I'm brutally honest. So, can't complain. It's just not as comfortable. You know, this one, it's like wearing 2 comfortable, fluffy pillows on your ears. It's lovely.
See, I've got my Bluetooth Beats one, but you can't connect it to the Xbox. Whereas this headset, it just connects to everything. It's great.
That's awesome. I bet it wouldn't connect to my PS3 though, because PS4's even, because they're just fucking awkward.
No, it will connect.
Ooh, interesting.
Got the adapters and everything for it.
Ah, fair play. See, I've just connected up to this pad and all gravy. I use my Studio one for that sometimes as well, but if I can't be arsed, I'll just stick some earbuds in. But if it connects to that, I might consider it. You been up to anything, Alan, in these past, 6 months or since the Christmas special?
Work. A little bit more work.
Work. Anyway, go on.
It's pretty much it. That's all I've done.
Yeah.
It's Christmas. I've not really done anything.
And now we've got a big fat holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we won't touch on that. We won't touch on that. So yeah, the man we've not heard from a long, long time, and we're talking, God knows how fucking long. It's been a long time. Lewis, how you doing?
Surviving. It's probably the best way of putting it.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's probably the best way of putting it, for brutally honest, what's going on. But like I say, we're here to put smiles on faces, so that's what we're gonna do. So you've been up touch, mate?
Well, probably the most newsworthy thing is that I was pretty much sort of halfway through getting my HGV license until this whole outbreak kicked in.
Lovely.
Which is a bit
what
of the arse, but
you kept that quiet.
Well, I didn't really. It's one of those I didn't really want to say anything until it was all done and dusted. But
you're just gonna blow it out of left field and go, yeah, I'm a dirty trucker now. Look at me with my one-armed tam.
I'm a trucker man.
Trucker 98. We're all in a convoy.
Well, yeah, nice one, man.
That's the thing. Once I pass, I'm gonna have to get a trucker code name.
Yeah.
Sorted.
The stowaway. We have one for you.
Well,
No. He cannot be called the stowaway while driving.
Yeah, I was about to say stowaway is a bit suspicious.
Could you imagine going through, especially French customs, and then just over the radio then 489 at a stowaway? Can we get your rating, please? Yeah, I've got 40 odd. I was going to say something horrible then. I'm not going to.
Why do we just call him Leone? Leone. That's who he replaced at the wedding, didn't he?
Oh shit, yeah. Oh yeah. Yes.
Are we just going to name people now after who they've replaced in certain situations? Is that what we're doing? Is that literally what we're doing now?
Shut up, not Daz. No one cares.
Hey, I'm not Daz. You can't talk to me like that.
It's Lewis the doppelganger. You couldn't fucking tell the difference.
How dare you?
How dare you?
Very dare you.
How dare you? But yeah, I'm sort of in the same boat actually, Lewis, when you talk about having to stop your license, because I've had to stop mine when I was, obviously it's not HGV, it's bog standard driving, but I had to stop mine as well. My test was on the 30th, and they cancelled it. Yeah. I was fucking fuming. I thought to myself, right, rubbing my hands together, because my last test lesson I did was Wednesday last week, and the roads were dead. And I thought to myself, if the roads are going to be like this, I'm going to pass my test, no fucking problem.
Yeah, that was my thinking, because the roads were exactly the same.
Yeah, and then they said, right, we can't do anything now. I was like, okay, fair enough, shit. Indefinitely, provisionally cancelled for up to 3 months plus.
Yeah, it's 12 weeks.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah. So I've stopped my driving lessons before the lockdown came in, so it was like, oh well, we'll save some money that way at least anyway. But yeah, at least I'm sort of competent on the road now. I'm quite, somewhat competent enough that I won't kill somebody, I'd say.
Give it time.
In the same way like Mel Gibson, man, of it.
I could drive at 60 mile an hour now. That fuck you.
When he gets up to 88, he disappears.
All right, Michael Schumacher, calm down.
I was gonna say, Paul, I have ridden in the passenger seat when Alan's been driving. Trust me, mate, you'll be absolutely fine.
So have I. I went to a certain Metallica gig and he was driving.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, you know it's bad when you're in a Ford Mondeo and your face starts rippling.
I just thought you were going to stop where it's just it's bad when you're in a Ford Mondeo. I thought you were going to stop there.
Hey, leave my car alone.
It's not white collar, it's white knuckle.
Yeah. Or brown.
Hey, it's a criminal
Manchester
car.
in good time.
It is a criminal car.
We've made Manchester in great time.
We did.
Do you ever watch Crime Watch? Watch Crime Watch. Every time they're looking for a fucking Ford Mondeo. Every single fucking week. It's some fucking skinhead in a fucking Mondeo. Every single fucking week.
Alright, I know I've just had my head shaved. Shut up.
I was about to say you just had your head shaved, hadn't you, Alan?
I was just about to say.
Oh, he joined the club, pal.
I say you've been.
Said head shaved, not bald.
Oh dear me.
I'm back.
So Lewis has been learning to become a truck. Alan, it's been Alan. What about you, Alan? What have you been up to?
I've been trying to get to grips with my life. A is a balding 28-year-old now,
Yeah.
And just come to terms with life.
Well, thanks for that. Dude, I'm 6 years on you.
Shit, that went deep.
Literally, I had so much stuff planned, and then in a space of 2 weeks, it's been swallowed up and fucked out the arse.
Not laughing at the fact that that's just the way you said it.
However, I have discovered the art. This is going to sound so fucking boring, but I've discovered the art of sous videing.
What?
What in the flying fuck is that?
Now, for my birthday, which was 20th, I got a sous vide machine.
What the fuck's one of them?
Now, I don't know if you ever watched MasterChef. This is just I can hear myself being played back over and over again and just hear myself going, you cunt, you boring cunt. you pretentious fucking cunt. It's basically you cut meat very, very slowly in like a water bath. But you have to like vacuum it in like a packet.
This sounds like a trap from Saw.
That's so.
But right, when you normally put meat in the oven to cook for a long time, it'll shrink the meat and it'll just squeeze all the juices out. Whereas with this, the meat doesn't shrink and it keeps it all in and it tastes very, very, very nice. I've currently got some pork belly on for 72 hours.
So I take it you never heard of a moduline oven. That's pretty much does that.
In other words, listeners, I've got nothing fucking better to do. I can only sit on my sofa and drink myself fucking silly and watch a fucking piece of pork cook for 72 fucking hours. Will somebody fucking save me?
Or you could sit there on a Saturday and watch reruns of FA Cup finals from like 60 odd years ago.
Listen, I'm a City fan. I don't want to watch fucking replays of FA Cup finals, if I'm going to be very fucking honest with you. Because every time there is an FA Cup final replay shown on BBC, it's that one where we're facing against that shit town that fucking cooks pies constantly, that thinks it's a fucking football team. That Wigan team, honestly, that final did me something fierce. That pecked me in the head and I've hated it, and I've hated it ever since.
Could be worse. You could be a Liverpool supporter right now.
Oh, you know what? Somewhere up in the heavens, up in wherever he may be, God has got his Man City shirt on and he's laughing his bollocks off.
It is harsh, let's be honest.
No, it's not. Fuck him.
Oh dear. Lewis, you're going to have to retort, mate.
I haven't got the energy.
Oh, come on, bring it. I could do a good argument.
I've not got the energy, mate.
Give it to me, Lewis. Give it to me.
Wow, that turned sexual.
Yeah, there was a little bit of sexual overtone there.
Give it to me, Lewis. Title of your sex tape.
It's going to be the title of my autobiography at this rate.
God has got his Man City top on.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh, come on. Well, everything's gone on. I can't believe there's just no sport whatsoever. It's like, what the fuck are we meant to do over the weekend? It's beyond me.
Well, the thing is,
I washed my car. I fucking washed my car.
With no football being on, literally the closest thing that we've had has been the NFL free agency.
Yeah.
That's literally the closest that we've had to any sort of meaningful sport.
That's gone really well for me and all.
Well, you know.
I've had Tom Brady and Steven Gostkowski gone within 2 weeks. Fucking hell!
Oh,
my life is literally falling apart. Literally falling apart in every single sector of my life. Oh.
This funny enough, this segues nicely into our first topic, which was topic even, you fucking topic, where we got a topic given to us kindly by our good friend James Bunkle of Lost Art of Podcasting, Lost Art of Wrestling, and Gunpowder, Treason, No Plot, asking about the NFL free transfer agency, the most improved team, and the team that's lost the most. I think we may have just had our answer there for lost the most.
I've not stopped crying.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? What do you mean you don't know? Come on, fucking hell.
The Texans.
Yeah, I was going to say, they got shut
They never fucking had any anyway, so they didn't have anything anyway.
They got closer than you did last season.
Oh, shut up. Closer than you did last season.
Lads, I can't say anything. I support the fucking Jags, and every single major defensive player is just being traded left, right, and centre. So I can't really say anything.
How long is it until they become the London franchise that we're waiting for?
Well, I don't know whether they'd be a properly London franchise, but you could probably see half of the fixtures.
Yeah.
Well, becoming English in England.
You see, I can't really step in on this because I've only just really started, literally months ago, got into the NFL. So I'm still educating myself on what are the good teams, what are the shit teams, sort of thing. I mean, I've chosen the Bears to follow. So
God.
It's a decent team to follow because, they've got one of the most solid defences in the NFL.
They always had a good defence.
Well, they always have had a good defence, yeah. But it was literally just a case of getting the offence really working because, Mitch Trubisky, in my mind, just isn't really good enough. Now, I'm not saying that Nick Foles is really the answer to it.
He's not just your mind, he's crap. Shit, mate.
But as a Jags fan, all I can say is thank you very much for taking Nick Foles off our hands because, it's our own fucking fault for agreeing for such a ridiculous contract to begin with.
Okay, so we took Foles off your hands.
Yeah, well, it's depends what kind of Nick Foles that you get. I mean, if you get the Nick Foles who was playing an absolute blinder in the playoffs and won the Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles, it's a positive. If you get the Nick Foles that literally turned up for 4 games for the Jags last season, didn't do anything, and is the reason why we're trading them away, then yeah. But, I think there was needs to get someone of high quality to compete with Trubisky because, there is evidence in there of a player that can be good, but it's just a case of, him being unmotivated, not really having anybody to push him. Maybe with the signing of Nick Foles, it might just be the rocket up the arse that Trubisky needs to actually do something.
Come on,
look at my team. Look who we got rid of first fucking day of trading. No one knows? Anyone?
No.
The Forrest Buckner. One of our top defenders.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, whoa.
That was a big hit. First pick trade as well. Straight to the Colts. But there is rumours in the pipeline. We're looking at Odell Beckham from the Browns.
What's gone on with the Browns? They've gone from
being hopeful
actually giving it a go. And you know what? For the past couple of years, they've been that lesser team that, they've been a bit of a joke. And they've got a decent quarterback, let's be honest. they've got a decent team there that can actually do something, and they're giving it a go. And it seems now they're just throwing it away
because they just don't have the coaching staff to get them
then
gone.
Get rid of the coaching staff because the players are there. The players are there for them to be successful.
I was going to say, so just sort of like half. The thing is with like football, or you could say with any sports, you can have the most talented players, you can have the most talented roster in your team, but if you haven't got the right coaching staff giving you the right plays or, you know, coaching you properly, then, you know, you're just not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, there's that. But then you got to think about if you've got the leadership and you've got the management there, you can actually drive a powered team to feats that they would not already do. And I mean, like, going from knowledge
for
that
example,
I know.
49ers.
Yeah. Well,
49ers just came out from nowhere.
Well, I was going to say the Blackpool team from the 2010-2011 Premier League season.
Fair point.
Yeah. Some dickhead said 9 points would pick up all season. The fact that we've got the double over Liverpool, we did this, that, and the other. It was like, we had no real right to do that considering the players that we got. You know what I mean? It's one of them, and that was all down to management and tactics and the way we played. And then to be fair, when we got found out, but
like Leicester.
Yeah, exactly like Leicester. But you'll get it's the same sort of thing like you say with the Browns. You know, if you've got the backing, you've got the management team behind them, then obviously they can inspire greater performance. Clearly.
Yeah. Well, I'd say the 49ers have this season. It's just been phenomenal to make it into the Super Bowl. Everyone was certain. I said that they're going to do Super Bowl this year, and I was like, no, don't be stupid. They're not going to do it. Getting towards the end of the season, looking at wild cards and places into the playoffs. It was like, oh, you're probably getting a wild card. Oh, you're number one seed. How the hell did that happen? Oh, you won't win the playoffs. The Super Bowl. Fair enough, we didn't. We fucked that up. But, that's off to them.
They went from a team that literally had, I don't want to say no right to be there, but if you said at the start of the season that 49ers would have been in that Super Bowl, you'd have been laughed at.
Yeah, I was.
You'd been laughed at. And the fact that they've gone from a team with no expectations to a team where, hang on a minute, we can fucking win this. We
went 3 quarters of the season without losing a game.
Exactly. And that's not just because every team will have that star player. Every team will have that. I mean, I hate to bring them up because I do support them, but the Patriots. You're going to tell me that Patriots team deserved to win 2-3 Super Bowls that they did? They had one good player, Tom Brady. We had one fucking good player in Tom Brady who almost single-handedly won us the Super Bowl against the Falcons. Let's be honest. He dragged us through the mud with that one. That was one good player doing it. And a whole lot of cheating. But
fucking was. Saying that, watching the replay of that Super Bowl, the last one, and there were so many plays that were just so questionable. I mean, it was scary. I was talking about like fucking that foot over the line. No, he's in. It's like, no, he's out. Clearly, fair enough. Several tackles that shouldn't have been fucking called, and all of a sudden, same tackle but reversed, and nothing was called. Really? Just a bit annoying, really. But I'm a sore loser, so. Literally with about 5 minutes left of the fucking game, I'm off to clean up. I'm not watching this.
But come on, that Chiefs team was the best. And as far as I'm concerned, I think you've got the right coach, the right quarterback, and the right players in the right place.
Well,
I think they've got it right, and I think that's why they are the best team at the minute.
You've got to look at it this way. You're feeding off one of the number one offences in the NFL league to one of the number one defence of the NFL league. It was going to be clashing the Titans. It literally was, and it was a damn good game. I'm not going to fault it.
It's probably the best Super Bowl I've watched in terms of competitiveness
in about 6 years.
Yeah,
6 years.
Yeah. Easily.
I picked a good Super Bowl to get into then, clearly.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Thank God you didn't watch it last year, because, dear God, that was painful.
Oh, God. Oh, Lord.
It was, I was
That was
crying.
dire. It was a dire Super Bowl.
Going into the fourth quarter, we're looking at each other going, do we turn this off? Bored now.
God.
Well, we both me, Lewis, and Matt all turned around and said, it goes, dear God, how quick is this game going?
Yeah.
The time just flew. We were like, fucking hell, it was like 3 o'clock and it was almost over. What's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I even commented saying it absolutely flew. It was like, I noticed as a newbie.
Is it the case of? Is it a case of the game went really quickly, or are we just sort of like, conditioned of watching American sports at that particular time that, like it gets to 4 o'clock, 4:30, it's just sort of like, can we please let this be over? So like the odd time it's just sort of like, freaking hell, it's nearly done, and it's only gone 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, right. Is it sort of like apples and oranges, or I don't know, maybe it's just me.
No, because we're wrestling fans, we like to fucking punish ourselves with stupid o'clock in the morning. So it's it's like, oh, we've got a show, it's 5 hours long. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake. So whenever something comes along, it's an American, it's 3 hours long. It's like, oh,
don't this shit.
Nope.
It was like yeah. So when the halftime show came about, and we were like, fucking hell, it's only like 1:30 here. What's going on? All right, fair enough.
Yeah, it did fly. It did absolutely.
Talking about that Super Bowl, that turned into quite a nice little piggyback ride for me. Halftime show, yay or nay?
Fucking yay to the max.
Yay, yes.
Yay.
Better than anything recently it's been on Super Bowl halftime show. Jesus.
Yeah, that was.
Just be glad you didn't have to deal with. Was it last year or the year before when we had Coldplay on? Oh my God, I wanted to hang myself.
It was the year before.
It was the year before. Dear God, that was dire. But that was a nice breath of fresh air.
It's just Coldplay for you, that though, isn't it? Let's be honest.
I tell you what, if anyone looks that good coming into the age of 50, hats off to her. Well done, Jennifer Lopez. It was all about Shakira's ass.
Yeah, just a bit.
Oh.
Just a bit.
I had to go to the toilet. Hey, Alan, why is your boxers all sticky or wet? Awkward.
Fuck. Hell.
Awkward. Let's bring it back to the original topic, like Bunkle says.
Please do.
The NFL free agency. So, who would you say has had who's up for grabs now? Who you would say would be a good add to any team?
Can I please say on behalf of all Patriots fans, please get Cam Newton. Please. Please.
Yeah,
because otherwise, we're going to end up with fucking Herbert from fucking Kansas, who couldn't throw a fucking stone into a bucket, let alone a fucking football. That's who we'll end up with. And I can't be risking that crap. I can't go through bad seasons. I can't cope.
Do you know what I'd absolutely love? I would love for the Patriots to just go out and get Jameis Winston.
No.
It would be so funny.
I can't stand. No, I can't tolerate him watching him play for the fucking Bucks. No way I'm going to tolerate watching him play for the
He might do another 30 for 30 season. You never know.
Fuck's sake.
And by 30 for 30, I mean he threw 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. And if you don't believe me, there's a video on the NFL YouTube channel, which is just basically every single touchdown and interception from Jameis Winston this last season. It actually turns into a fun little game of, like, the start of every play. You can sort of, like, say, is this going to be an interception or a touchdown? And it's actually, a fun way to pass, a 12-minute video.
I love the drinking game for us when we all get back together. But you know what I mean?
What about Panthers' Robbie Anderson, their wide receiver? That'll be a good little catch for you.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh no, he's joining Panthers. Sorry, I thought he was leaving Panthers.
Yeah.
Why did I think that?
So speaking of people joining the Panthers, that was another thing I was going to mention about the NFL free agency. What about players from the XFL? Because the Panthers have signed
They have, yes.
They've signed the Houston Rednecks quarterback.
Well, I think there's three players from the XFL. I think that are in the process of actually getting spots on the team. Let me see if I can find it.
Is that the purpose of the XFL now? Because I always have this feeling watching the XFL and watching the players play that it's sort of their audition for the NFL.
No, I would say
I just get that feeling that it's just an audition league.
No. I think I covered it on my Lost Art of Wrestling, where I basically said it's the equivalent of, say, for example, in the XFL, there are a lot of players who either were on a team but weren't good enough to cut the mustard, or that tried out and weren't good enough to get drafted. Now, to put it in equivalent to way we may understand sort of thing, it's like this. Say, for example, you're a youth player at football, and you're playing for a team like Manchester United or any Premier League team, and they let you go after a while, or you get let go because you don't quite make the standard that they require, so you get let go, and then maybe you might have a trial at, say, I don't know, Oldham Athletic in League Two. You'll get called up, they'll play you, they'll assess you, and you go, right, you know what, we'll sign you, we'll see how you get on, and you end up ripping it up in the league. You end up playing amazing. You get noticed. Right?
Like Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, exactly like Jamie Vardy. So then eventually you go, well, you do a season or two at that level, and you're like, well, another bigger team will spot you. Someone like, let's just say, I don't know, a team that might go up this season, I don't know, fucking West Brom United, right?
West Brom United.
West Bromwich Albion, whatever. Get fucked. Anyway, West Brom, that's it. Right? West Brom. And you end up getting signed for them, you end up playing a bit, and you get promoted. You're back in the Premier League. It could be something similar to this, where they drop down a level, excel at that level, and then eyes get noticed and go, oh, hang on a minute, one team might have missed something here, and sign them up. It's maybe that sort of thing where it's like, it's maybe not an audition, it's just like the Championship compared to the Premier League or something like that. Where it's a lesser standard, per se, but it's like an advertising window for the NFL.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
The Houston Rednecks quarterback that signed for the Panthers is PJ Walker.
Yes, and he is fucking good. I've watched him play a few times. I got into the XFL and watched quite a few games. I mean, my team was the Seattle Dragons and they were fucking hopeless, but I watched a few games and he was fucking great. Good quarterback. Really good quarterback.
There's so that was player number one that's apparently managed to land an NFL job. The second one is another quarterback, Jordan Tamu from the St. Louis Battlehawks.
Yeah, he's good as well.
Apparently, apparently agreed terms with the Chiefs, so that's a nice little backup for the Chiefs and Paddy Mahomes.
A good little backup. I told you they've got a good system going on down in Kansas City at the minute. Really good system.
And there's one more that I remember. It's defensive back Drayvon Askew Henry, who played for the New York Guardians. He's apparently agreed a 2-year deal with the New York Giants.
There you go, then.
Well, we can't all go this far.
So it's a way back in, like I said, the XFL, it's a way back in. And while we're talking about the NFL, I know we covered it, I didn't really cover it so much on Lost Art of Wrestling because they didn't really watch the XFL. But I'm assuming at least one of you three will have seen some XFL.
I caught a couple of games.
Watched a couple of highlights of games.
Yeah, so what did you think?
I think that's the two things that I quite liked that are different from the NFL. The kick returns. I do like the kick return system of like the opposing defense can't rush forwards until the receiver's got the ball.
Yeah,
I quite like that. And I also like the like conversion system of whether you decide to go for 1, 2, or 3 points rather than it just being like a field goal kick. I think that's like an interesting aspect of it. But as I say, I only sort of like saw the highlights from 2 games really. So, but those were 2 things that I picked up on that I actually quite liked.
Yeah.
See, I still put down it's like the NFL's the rugby union of the 2, and the XFL's the league. The XFL being a lot faster paced of a game. That makes sense.
That's fair. That is fair. I'd give you that.
Whereas it was literally the union, of course, it's a slower pace. It's all about tactics. It's not about trying to get the ball over it's about, well, it is trying to get the ball over the line, but, there's more to it as per se. So I'm putting it like that.
The more sophisticated side of the game, would you say?
Yeah, that's a big word. I'll use that.
Just call me big word, not Daz.
I'd say the XFL is a hell of a lot more flashy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's more pizzazz to it than the XFL, but which is to be expected because the XFL is essentially a new league. They're still sort of finding the ground, finding the feet sort of thing. This was more of like a trial and error sort of thing, see how it goes, and clearly they're onto something. I mean, they weren't getting NFL crowds, but they were getting decent sized crowds for these games. They were getting a decent following.
What were the viewerships like on telly? Do we know?
Good. Well, they were beating fucking AEW, let's just put it that way.
No, I'll put it out there. They've got it right. So it's their season starts up when the Super Bowl finishes. End of NFL season. Beautiful. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that was the selling point. It's like, you want less time without football, watch the XFL. Because what's the point in competing with that company? It's like it'd be like Ford. No, not Ford. Some random small company like, I don't know, Tata in India trying to compete against Ferrari because we've got a sports car.
You pulled that one out of fucking nowhere, didn't
you? It's one of them. You're not going to do it. You're not going to compete. You're not going to go directly against them. You're going to do something either it's going to complement it or go alongside. And that is what the XFL have done by, as soon as like the Super Bowl's finished, you might have a week break and then you go straight into the XFL regular season.
See, this is what I think college football's done wrong. I think because it's college football on Saturday and NFL on the Sunday. What they should have done was done what XFL done.
Bob on.
Yes.
Because it's college football over there is massive. It's just as big as the NFL. So it's just stupid that it shouldn't have like an off season. It's basically alternating each other. But hey ho, that's me.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, that's why in like motorsport circles sort of thing. I mean, you got the Formula One that finished, and then traditionally you had the Formula E then carried on. It was a winter series, so that way the FIA still had some sort of motorsport going on all the way through the year. And that's why they put it. That's where they put it, so that way they weren't competing directly against F1.
That is right.
So it's just the way it makes sense to complement. So that's why I agree. I agree with that. The XFL did the right call by going at the end of the season and not competing and becoming like, well, we can be additional content to you rather than being we are competitor to you.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. To the point where they each mention each other. Like, for example, when we had the call, like the NFL was like, we've got this, like when the Panthers signed that quarterback, they said ex-XFL player.
Oh.
It's like, they've mentioned it, so I'm like, oh right, he's an XFL player. So you can go back and look at what he's done in the XFL if you don't watch the XFL.
It's like giving the league some kind of exposure as well.
Yeah, some recognition. Yeah, absolutely. And it shows like, well, do you know what? These players must be up to some stuff because we're signing them. So it works both ways. I mean, the XFL actually had a guy who was an NFL player coming out to on the pitch and they did an interview because ESPN, they did interviews on pitch side. Like, for example, if a player scored a touchdown, within 30 seconds, I was giving an interview on the touchline.
I know, I can't get over that.
And I quite liked it, but when they had an NFL guy there saying that he couldn't hack it, he wouldn't be able to do all these interviews on the pitch side and this, that, and the other. So they were mentioning the NFL as well. For example, when it was the Seattle Dragons, they played in the Seattle Seahawks arena. No, their arena.
Yeah.
So there was obviously a lot of mentions of the Seattle Seahawks as it was playing. So just one of them. What team would you say has improved the most in free agency at the minute?
Or is it too early to tell?
Yeah,
I would say from this point on, up to this point, I'd say you can give a fair assessment. Obviously, we're not going to tell right away because it's not finished, but up until this point.
I'd argue that I would have to say the Ravens, because I think there's a couple of like really good deals from their aspect. Obviously, I'd probably say the biggest one, coming from a former Jags fan, is former Jags player in Calais Campbell. Because I can tell you this much, watching the defense that, had its bright sparks, he is a really darn good player, and I think he will fit in really fucking well. And particularly with how well the Ravens did in regular season. Okay, the postseason wasn't that great, but you could say the same thing with the New Orleans Saints. But I think but as I think Alan said, I think it's a bit too early to tell, because I think there will be some more potential big deals coming.
Can I just throw out the Cardinals?
Yeah, Cardinals
sure.
Yeah.
Because am I right in saying they've got Hopkins? Wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah. Because I literally just had it
trade
on the page just then. Yeah, they got DeAndre Hopkins.
Just off the top of my head.
Yeah. Well, we should have just kept this open. But yeah, because I can't remember whether it's them or the Atlanta Falcons. Actually, I think it's the Atlanta Falcons that have got Dante Fowler and Todd Gurley, which is a couple of like really good acquisitions. I don't know. Must have been somebody else I was thinking of. Oh well. Yeah, I think it's. I'm not 100% certain, to be honest with you, because I'm literally just sort of like looking through a load of names.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Buffalo Bills as well. They've done quite well. They've added a lot, though. Just looking now, they've added a lot.
Mm. Bills have added a lot. Ravens have added a lot.
It's got to be the 49ers again.
The Broncos have added a lot.
And of course, the Las Vegas Raiders now, not the Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders.
What with the Toilet Bowl Stadium?
They have obviously got, I believe Jason Witten's gone there.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of talk that Tom Brady were going to go there.
The Raiders, it was...
Mariota's gone there.
Mariota, yeah.
Mariota's gone there. Yeah.
Done nothing but... Yeah, as I said, I could tell you sort of like the people who have, added a lot, and like the Seahawks have added a lot.
Okay. Are we, just question going to throw out there, are we an advocate for sign a lot in free agency, get the best players you can, and then see what comes through in the draft? Or are we wait for young talent, bring them up on probably a smaller salary for longer contracts? I mean, what would you prefer going forward as a franchise? Signed the biggest player on a short-term contract for a shit load of money, not guaranteeing the success you think you're buying? or waiting for the draft and getting some young talent that could.
It depends how good your squad is at the time. Like, I mean, I was looking at something about the Saints, that now that they've got Drew Brees tied down, they gave like short-term deals to 2 offensive linemen, and it was literally just sort of like, the veteran talent, but the short deals. So they are looking at, going that one better of not having a crap postseason and actually, pushing towards actually getting to the Super Bowl, possibly winning it. But I mean, if you're like a Cincinnati Bengals or a New York Jets, I would imagine you're just sort of looking for a mixture of experience and then as good a youth talent as you could possibly get.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to, again, I want to put this for the whole Tom Brady situation with me is, in my head, my way of thinking, the Patriots organisation must have had some clue over the last couple of months that chances are Brady won't be re-signing with us, Brady will be leaving. Now, at one point does it kick in there, as in, we've either got to get a big name in free agency, or we've got to get a big name in the draft. Not necessarily a big name in the draft, but a solid pick in the draft. And it feels like at the minute that they've really not planned for his departure. I mean, this is a man who's been with the franchise for, well, however long he's ever been in the NFL, almost.
I think it's like 12 seasons.
12 years. You must have planned, at least at the start of last season, there must have been a chat back in the back room that said, right, I'm not sure. Brady must have said, I'm not sure whether I'm going to be here next season. And at that point, if I were Bill Belichick, if I was head of scouting or head of recruitment or whatever, I'd have gone, right, that has set off alarm bells for me. And I'd have gone, right, I need to fucking get going here. I need to either start tapping up someone whose contract is on the end, or I need to start looking for some bloody good picks in the draft. And it just seems to me like they've done neither. And now we're just going and looking, what the hell do we do? You know what I mean?
I think there's more chance of the Patriots keeping the cards close to the chest, and then on the actual draft day, possibly trading up to get a young quarterback in the draft. Because the thing is, sort of, I look at the quarterbacks that are available in free agency, and I can't see.
I don't see a Bill Belichick quarterback. I think the best option we can hope for is Cam Newton, but does he fit in that offense? Absolutely.
Well, that's the thing.
Would not know.
Well, then I very much doubt we'll go for it. I honestly think that Bill Belichick he's experienced enough and he's won enough to really warrant the fact that he will definitely see some talent in that draft, and he will definitely trade up. He'll definitely trade up, but I think this will literally just be a case of like mind games on the day. They'll wait until the actual draft day to actually trade up.
Yeah, well, I hope you're right, but just watching all the free agency stuff happen. It's very much trigger finger stuff, free agency, especially in NFL. It's very much trigger finger. You see one move happening, and then you do another. You lose one big player, you go for another, and replace him in that position almost straight away. Unless you have an early pick in the draft, at which point you'll go, we're going to save that money, whatever we would have had, and put it into someone who'd be worth it, and then have some left over if we really, really need to have someone else.
Yeah. And
I just feel the New England Patriots are doing neither. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope Bill Belichick's got a lovely little plan lined up for us. I really, really do. But I just think that it sounds like Brady was umming and ahhing whether he was going to stay or go. Mm-hmm. But I can't help as a franchise that has been as successful as the New England Patriots has been for the last decade,
Who the fuck was that?
Cunt. Anyway.
It's like the episode title called Like a Fart in Church.
Oh, there you go. There's your title right there.
A fart in a church. Fucking hell.
Fart in a shed. There we go.
Well, we'll find out come draft day, because it's literally like exactly a month away. That's 23rd to the 25th of April.
You know what? It doesn't matter what I say now. The fart's taking the sting out of it.
Taking something, that's for sure.
No.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, dear.
I hope it fucking stung on the way out. Anyway.
Old school.
Oh, that's fucked.
Has anyone said that? And it's like, someone's fine. I hope it fucking stung.
Oh, God. Jesus fucking Christ. On that note, I think we could probably move on.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
And, you know, to numb the senses, I've got some, after that farts, I've got a couple of drinks to taste. And
probably not the best drink to move on to after a fart, really.
Well, I thought, fuck it, they're sat there staring at me, so let's do it. I've sent a picture of the two offending cans on the group chat if you want to have a look. And
you sent a picture of a couple of cans. You didn't send any toucans. I want a toucan.
Are they really small or really
They
far
are.
away?
Well, these two cans are really small. They're 250ml cans.
What's the point of that then?
And
you may as well have a shot.
yes, exactly. But these are what known as, it says on the front, it's a Sandow's cold brew soda. Now, I got these from Home Bargains and they were 10 pence each. And
Oh dear, you said 10 pence.
I suspect that.
yeah, exactly. The last canned drink I got this cheap, if we have a very, 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 very long memory, was Mega Malts. So
Yeah. We know how well that went.
yeah, we all know how well Mega Malt went. Now, it is infamous on the podcast, but I'm willing to say this probably isn't going to be as bad, he says, touching the wood inside of his shed. Now,
Yes, that
I
is.
really hope you're talking about the wood, not your wood.
well, like I said, my penis is in my pants. Anyway,
For once.
for once. Only because the restraining order makes me. Now, what made me pick this up was the
You're
writing
awful,
over
Pete.
the top. Now, I would have just walked past this one and figured out it's just a cheap drink, you know, whatever it is. But here's what it says on the top of the can. On the one, I've got the hold of the green one at the moment, and it says, "Sparkling citrus cold brew coffee."
I couldn't think of anything that I'd rather not have in my mouth.
So essentially, I am drinking. This is basically fizzy coffee with a
I
hint
like
of
my
citrus.
coffee and I like my fizziness, but two things should never join together.
I
Or the matrimony.
100% agree on this situation. Now, that one is citrus. The other one I've got, I'm assuming it is some sort of ginger in it. It does. I've just read the ingredients.
That's a bit racist.
It's a spark. I just feel sorry for the poor ginger they killed. It's a sparkling spice cold brew coffee. So,
those battery gingers that we have.
Yeah.
Like.
yeah, none of them.
That we fattened up with those fucking awful things. Yeah.
Hey, wait, this can cost me 10 fucking p. There's no way the free range.
Those free range gingers.
Battery gingers.
But yeah, I'm just looking at the ingredients sort of thing on the citrus ones. It's cold brew coffee, which is water and coffee, refined golden cane sugar, lemon juice and concentrate, lime, bitter orange, and other natural flavours. So
I don't
No,
like the
thank
sound
you.
of other natural flavours.
yeah,
Surely the natural just name them. You know?
it's
Name 'em.
always made with speciality grade coffee. A refreshing, sparkling pick-me-up. I make this sounds.
I'm depressed just listening to the ingredients.
Exactly. I've got a sneaky feeling I may be projectile vomiting this across the garden. So
that's why he's outside, not in the house.
This is why I can open my shed door and I can literally throw the can out in the garden if it need be. So
you've got compost heap if you vomit all over it.
Well, funny enough, I'm right next to the compost as well.
Yeah, then, Steve. Every plant.
Yeah, absolutely.
The plants.
Yeah, exactly. You know, if you want them to grow up like fucking Seymour from Little Shop of Horrors, there you go.
Ground
feed me, Seymour, feed me.
But yeah, I'm going to crack open the citrus one first because it sounds the least offensive. So we're just going to open it up. I don't know if you can hear this. Not if you heard that, but here we go.
I'll stick to the beer.
Was that your back or were you opening a can?
I know they sound very similar, yeah, but this time it was the can.
This time.
Yeah, so we're going to do it the old school R.A.D. way. I'm going to sniff it first and tell you what it smells like. And
So I met my wife, that.
Right, there's no hint of coffee in that at all. Oh, there it is.
It's all sounding very familiar, this.
It's like, when I open it up and you...
Trip down memory lane on.
Okay.
Back in my day.
But yeah, when you sniff that, you get like a massive hint of like lime and lemon. Yeah. And then it's like, that'll be the citrus. And then I didn't smell it initially, but I went for a second sniff. It's like, oh yeah, the coffee's in the background. And it's like, yeah, these two smells shouldn't really exist together.
Oh God, why don't we just play innuendo bingo and I'm done with it?
There you go. So yeah, I'm going to give it a glug. Here we go.
For fuck's sake.
You fucking asked for it, you dirty-minded bitch.
I usually do.
Right, here we go. Let's give it a try. Oh my God. Oh.
I'm guessing it's out of 10, it's probably going to be below 5 then.
Oh, that might be the temperature anyway, because it's freezing, but... Oh, God. Yeah, I won't be drinking it. Oh, God.
You enjoy that?
You get what it...
Who's going to take over?
Much like the smell, the taste has an aftertaste.
The taste... There is an aftertaste. Right. You drink it, and you get instant... Oh, God, fuck!
Fucking hell.
I was about to say, wash it down with some spice.
Oh.
You need knitting needles.
Oh my! Yeah, to scrape it off my fucking tongue. Yeah.
Rat poison might help you. I've still got all that stuff. Anyway.
Oh. Right. Have you ever accidentally, when you? This is probably more aimed at Alan because he likes his coffee. You ever had it where you've actually had left a tiny weeny bit of like granulated coffee on the edge of the cup, the lip of the cup, and you've tasted it?
Uh-huh.
That's the aftertaste.
Oh dear.
That is the aftertaste. It's that strong. And as you drink it, you sort of like, you get the coffee is sort of in the background, where you get like sort of like a citrus hit, but it's all fizzy, then the coffee takes over while it's still fizzy. And it's not pleasant. That is really not pleasant.
It sounds like a liquid version of the 10-minute burn.
Just
without the burn, just as it tastes disgusting.
See, I could literally stomach the 10-minute burn though. That
you almost passed out.
Well,
no. Let's clear that up for Alan, shall we? Right, I managed 10-minute burn. I was like, yeah, that's fine, no problem with that. What killed me nearly was the fucking Hell Unleashed that I had after that, which was 2.4 million Scoville units, which was double 10-minute burn.
Oh, my princess.
So
I feel so sorry for you right now.
Oh,
I felt sorry for my entire body that evening. I was like in the fetal position at 2:00 in the morning.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I can't really say anything because I remember trying those peppers during the podcast, and that almost fucking killed me.
Yeah, I remember everyone's trying to. I remember the mad dash to the gents' toilets and everyone's heads in sinks. So, and I'm just sat there going, yeah, they're quite hot, but yeah.
I remember being in a pub once when I was in Preston, and there's a few of my mates around. And I've walked in, and one of the mates comes up to me, hey, Darky, try this. Darky's my nickname. It's not a racist thing. I will tell you another story about how it was a racist thing. Anyway, I'm in this pub, and Ray's going, Darky, try this chocolate. And I'm there going, fuck, whatever. So I try this chocolate, and I taste absolutely nothing. And all of a sudden, I feel it's like burning. I've had a good quarter of a bar. A proper shut. If you imagine the Dairy Milk ones that are like 12 by 6, I've had a quarter of one of them, and I've just scoffed it down. I've not thought about it because what dickhead would offer me Chilean chocolate? I thought. Anyway.
Oh, nice.
Then he shows me the packet, and it says Carolina Reaper chocolate.
Oh no!
And about 4 Fosters later, I had 4 Fosters probably in the space of 45 minutes. I shit you not. And I've never been so sober in my entire fucking life after 4 Fosters. It was honestly, it was the most surprisingly awful thing I've ever had in my fucking life. Anyway,
vodka. That's what you want next.
Back to the story I was going to tell you about the Darky nickname. When I was in my cricketing days, God, I sound so fucking upper class. Back in my cricketing days, I was invited on a cricket tour to Tobago. Yeah, we're already seeing the problem. So I'm out doing my thing, I'm playing quite well, and all my mates in the pavilion shout, "Nice one, Darky!" And we were playing the under-16 Tobago team.
Oh.
And my mates goes, "Nice one, Darky!" And I swear on my life, all 11 Tobago players turned round to face my mates at the pavilion, and I'm stood there in the middle of this fucking cricket pitch, in an entirely different fucking country, in an entirely different fucking continent, having to explain why I'm called Darky.
Such a racist bastard.
Fucking hell.
Speaking of dark shit, I've still got one of these fucking cans left to try. Alright, hello.
Talk us through it.
Well, if you didn't like the citrus, what makes you think the spice is going to be any better?
I saved the main event, mate. I don't.
If you didn't like one, you're not going to like t'other.
I don't like ginger, so this is going to be interesting. So
not much for the gingers tonight. I've gone to town on them bastards.
I was going to say the actual food sort of like ingredients and thing, and Jerry. She can fuck off as well.
She's married to Thingy at Red Bull, isn't she?
Yeah, Jerry Horner. Now she's called.
What a very, very appropriate name for her.
All right there, Jerry.
What the fuck was that?
Jerry? Actually, we have Ronnie Cole on the line here.
Jerry.
It's Jerry the Berry.
Jerry the Berry.
You're a berry, Jerry.
Fruity penny shoes.
Hey?
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
That's a different podcast.
Yeah.
You can actually catch that, but I will plug that later. But yes, Sandhouse Cold Brew Soda. I now have the spice one, which clearly has fucking ginger in it. Yay. So we're going to open it up. Yay. We do it. I'll give it a sniff. Oh my Jesus. Oh no. Yeah. You ever smell anything and it makes you sort of like crease up on your back, sort of like, ugh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thomas does.
What, you get that close to him that you can smell him?
You don't need to. You just walk in.
To be honest, I've not got a greater range of going around sniffing things, if I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm not exactly a sniffing connoisseur of the world.
Dad, stop sniffing my balls. Get off. Come on.
But yeah.
Quite all right. Neck it.
I'm prepping the shed door. Here we go. Big chug just for Alan.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Down in one. Chug.
Come on, it's only a 250ml can.
Did you hear that thud?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me throwing it out the shed door.
I thought you were touching cloth.
I might be after that. Oh.
I certainly was after that fart.
Alan, I'm trying not to vomit. Don't make me laugh.
This is an interesting little game for the people who are still listening. Predict what minute that all that beer is going to come right back up.
Yeah.
Winners will get
fuck all.
Yeah. You'll get fuck all. You might get a shout out if we can be asked.
Yeah,
Probably
maybe.
Not.
Just to sum that up, there wasn't very much ginger in that at all, thank God. But it's still the fizzy coffee.
No, I told you, no, two combinations that you should never go
it doesn't work. It does not work.
Shock horror from a 10p.
Exactly.
10p can of...
And now we know why it was 10p. Yeah. So,
I smell another forfeit.
Oh, I'm buying a fucking crate. You can all have one.
All right.
You're alright, thanks.
I'll try one.
I will happily give you 10p for me not to have one.
there's only so many Seymours from Little Shop of Horrors I can grow in my back garden.
Absolutely. Oh, God.
Plenty of semen.
Yeah. To be fair, I think we need to make. I think we need Ant to actually try some Mega Malt. I think. I think he may be the only one that hasn't tried it.
I think I am. Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I think Lewis. I think you even had some, didn't you?
Yeah.
Talk me through it. What am I going to experience here?
Utter displeasure and hate of it.
Yeah, just pure.
I've been married almost a year, so.
Just pure hatred in can form. I would say.
Bit like aerosol.
Yeah, why not? Fuck it. Yeah, it was fucking disgusting. I mean, there's a picture on Facebook actually. If you go on my profile, if you're listening, you will not be able to do this, I don't think, but these guys can because they're unfortunate enough to know me personally. But
I'll pay anyone 20 quid to stalk Hull. Honestly,
it's called Mega Malt, is it?
Mega Malt, yes. Mm. It is. Yeah, there was a picture of me and Coxie on a train with a caddy.
On a coach? No, it was a train.
It was a train.
Is it like a small, stubby sort of bottle?
No, we had can form.
Oh yeah. Oh well, I'm on the website. Enjoy the premium taste of Mega Malt.
It looks like a tango. It looks like a tango can with Big Bob's Bastard Beans font on it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think we covered that website like fucking 3 years ago. So
Frank Rufford and his family are natives of the Bahamas. Grew up drinking Malta, a common beverage in their island home. I'm literally reading this as it's like spelt out, freaking punctuation and everything. Malta helped Frank to develop the strength and maintain the energy he needed as an Olympian. Now Frank Rutherford and his family brings you highly researched and carefully developed beverage. Mega Malt was formulated by the Ruffords and Frank, a 3-time Olympian and 1992 Olympic bronze medalist. The first Olympic medalist, Bahamas. That's literally what it says. He and his family at E.S. Marketing Beverage Brokers, Inc., work closely with one of the oldest breweries in Holland. That perfect marriage of the Bahamas and Holland, innit? Hey, they've probably been working something else out while they've been doing that. Anyway.
Can we make a weed drink out of this?
Fuck that. Yeah, I'm gonna if I can source a can, I'm subjecting you to it. It's like it's almost like a rite of passage on this podcast. I think you have to try Mega Malt.
It's got more energy than orange juice.
What?
I'm on the nutrition bit, sorry.
Yeah, because it's probably fucking pure sugar, that's why. But yeah,
0.02 of iron.
Oh, God.
It's got 12 carbs.
It's got 12 of them?
You know what? I've got the most funny picture. In fact, I will screenshot this. And I'm going to send it to you on the thing. Because it makes me laugh. Yeah. Anyway, grab a load of that. Doesn't that look like very good, like shit, like lunch?
What the fuck?
That's what I found.
Oh my God.
That looks like something your mum would make on a Saturday afternoon for your lunch.
Almonds lunch.
Minus the fruit.
It looks looks like a school self-awareness sign for just sort of like, you know.
Eat healthy.
Yeah.
Drink beer.
That's the way it's laid out.
It says non-palletized. I generally thought it meant non-paralytic, and I thought if you have to write that on a fucking beer, there's no way I'm
fucking paralytic to try.
I'm not drinking anything that says non-paralytic on it. Because that sends out all sorts of bloody warning signals.
No, just leave that for me and Coxie. But yeah, we'll move on. Fuck it. I believe Alan has a topic.
I certainly do.
Yes, go
So,
for it.
with the recent events unfolding in the last 2 months, a lot of shows that are live.
COVID free.
Yeah, a lot of shows that has been, what was it, usually live or with an audience, is been put onto the side with no audience. So you still get your show, just no audience. So WWE being a prime example, I feel like the shows seem to be 5 times better without an audience than with an audience. I just want to see what you guys thought of
that. Can I start with this? I mean,
yeah,
I can see where you're coming from on that. And I haven't seen much of the programming recently because
it's been shit.
It's been shite. It has been utter shite. Now, what I have done, because I do follow WWE on Facebook and I do have them on Twitter and all this sort, and I've seen the odd promo, and now the one promo that sticks to mind is there was a promo that had John Morrison and The Miz.
No relation to mine, people, just to let you know.
And they were talking, they were doing this promo as if the crowd was there, and it was like, it was pausing for reaction. But there wasn't any. And it's like, this is incredibly awkward. And I found it very difficult to watch and very off-putting. And it just shows you that, to me, wrestling does need a crowd. It needs something like that. It needs something where there's some sort of like to and fro where, you can ad-lib somewhat in wrestling. It's not strictly like scripted. You can you can bounce off, like, for example, if you're a heel, you're looking for someone to insult, as a get out because you're stuck for a line. That fat bloke with a fucking John Cena t-shirt, you're getting it. You know what I mean? It's just an example.
You're getting it.
But literally, Triple H came out, did the whole spiel about, right, okay, due to the underlying events that's happening throughout the world, we're having to close our doors, but we're willing to do a show for you without an audience. And it was just basically how much can Triple H dick around on a set, and it was brilliant. I loved it.
Yeah. I get that, and I wholeheartedly agree with you on that. Triple H was a fucking breath of fresh air on that episode.
Absolutely, it was just great to watch. I've never known a guy to be literally. You always see him. He's serious. Then he has a little moment of stupidity. Serious. Right, he's in charge of the business now as such. And then all of a sudden, bang! Oh look, I'm going to dick around for the whole show. Yes, give me that camera.
There's only one problem with that argument, though. You're basing it on one person.
I know.
Take him out of it and watch the matches. They are awkward as fuck. There's no reaction.
May I interject? I think I can speak for the performers and the wrestlers themselves when I say they want an audience. They need that to do their thing.
Yep.
Because that's, in the end, that is what they feed off.
Yep.
That's what they feed off, to do a good promo, do a good move, to make that spot that you planned in backstage not an hour ago, to make it feel worth it when you snap your neck in half. That's their kick. That's their kick. And we can sit here as fans and say, and applaud them for a good job well done during this difficult time and all that. But let's be honest, it's still not as good as in live. And I was watching AEW, and I've been watching AEW with very, very keen eyes, and I have enjoyed it. And I thought it was a very, very clever and funny idea to have the rest of the wrestlers who weren't doing the night in the crowd. I thought that was fantastic. But when they revealed Broken Matt Hardy, I just thought, yeah, it was a great moment, though, but it could have. That needed an audience.
The crowd would have gone ape shit.
There were moments like that, like the reveal of Brody Lee, the former Luke Harper, being the exalted one, where you need that crowd reaction. And I just look ahead to like this year's WrestleMania, and I can honestly say that when WrestleMania comes around and, you know, apparently doing from all these multiple locations and they're going to be behind sort of like, you know, closed off sets, and it'll literally get to the time and we'll be looking at this, you know, this tiny building with nobody in it, and yet they're going to be presented, welcome to WrestleMania, pal, and it's literally a case of, yeah, but it doesn't have that WrestleMania feel, and I think that's part and parcel with wrestling. I mean, like particularly big events, big moments, you do need that crowd there because, you know, I always say for sort of like matches, like all-time favourite matches, like all-time favourite matches include that crowd reaction.
They have that pop.
It doesn't necessarily have to be sort of like an 80, 90,000 football stadium filled to the rafters. It can just be sort of like a passionate crowd that is invested into the match, and they add to it. And, you know, that's a contributing factor whenever I think of sort of like memorable matches, you know, memorable all-time favourite matches from my standpoint. So I think for like a no audience in wrestling is okay in sort of like a temporary setup. It's not something that you could do long term. No. I do honestly think you need a crowd there for wrestling to work.
Because at the end of the day, it's awkward for us watching, and I'm pretty sure it's awkward for the wrestlers performing as well.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it's very, very awkward.
And don't forget, the performances will not be the same. If you've got a mad crowd behind you, you've got that energy, and you potentially go, you know, 2 seconds, one more, 2 or 3 more gears into sort of like, right, they're behind us, they're into it, let's go, let's give them something. I mean, look at that match between Devlin and Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate at the UK Takeover 2. Mm-hmm. Crowd went nuts. And they went nuts because of it. You know, look at another one. Do you honestly think you would have got the reaction from Edge if everyone didn't lose their fucking mind at the Royal Rumble when he turned up?
Yeah. Do you imagine that with just silence?
Yeah. It needs that reaction. It needs that feedback. If anything,
are they right to go ahead with this? Let's be honest.
No, they should have postponed it.
Are they not doing more damage to their product? Do we think?
Yes.
Yes. It's just Vince McMahon being a stubborn individual.
Old fucker.
He's always had this mindset of just sort of like, oh, nothing can faze me, pal. Like, this is coming from a guy who hates sleep. Like, do you really think a sort of like worldwide pandemic freaking virus, and I realise we're trying not to talk about it too much, but do you think something like that is going to stop him from, you know, producing his product? No. Like, I mean, in any sane case, you would, because like I can't remember who it was. Might have been one of the guys on Wrestling Soup actually. They were going on about the fact of sort of like, you know, postpone WrestleMania, or, you know, you can cancel it altogether, and you can just build SummerSlam as being the big event of the year, because, you know, they already have the tagline of it being the biggest party of the summer. You might as well, you know, give that event some prestige.
Have that in the big arena. Have that with the rematches. I can understand. But in a couple of weeks, when everything is sort of going to revert semi back to normal.
Yeah, he said semi.
Will we look back on, let's say in 6 weeks' time, when things are starting to revert back to normal, will we look back on WrestleMania as a case of, yeah, it was a good show, it was nice, or fuck me, that was a bit awkward, wasn't it?
I genuinely think it's going to be the equivalent of like you've been invited to go to the Guy Fawkes night. You've been promised this great big celebration. You've been promised like all the fireworks, the bonfire and everything. Yeah. Mm. And when you get there, it's literally someone set some newspapers on fire and just stood there with a party popper.
Yeah, that's it.
I
well,
think
look who had they hosting for the first fucking night. Gronk.
And by God, did he look like he was afflicted with, some term of like Down syndrome when he came out. I'm not trying to be mean, but fuck me.
He's pepped.
Sami Zayn would look at that and be like, fucking calm down, pal. At least when I did the sort of like the strutting about, I actually made it entertaining.
Well, there's that. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to WrestleMania this year. It's going to be. What I will say though is the concept of having WrestleMania split over 2 days is a great idea.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. What they should do is have the NXT on the Friday.
Yes.
Then have on Saturday they should have the part 1 of WrestleMania.
They could have that way. They can work 2 main events. Main events.
I said this on the Lost Start of Wrestling. I said that what they could do is have, like, for example, you going, the women have main evented WrestleMania. The men are why the men? No, you can have the women main event one show. You can have the men main event another. You could have you could have the Saturday show on the Saturday, 3-hour show. Then you could have on the Sunday, 4-hour show if you want. On the Sunday, Sunday afternoon, you could have the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And then on the Sunday, you could potentially have a 5-hour show. Boom.
Well,
I think the concept does need to be
That sounds like a certain Wrestle Kingdom that airs on a January,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Why it's not happened, I don't know.
Well, I know.
It's a New Japan idea, and Vince, you know what Vince is like. He'll see a good idea done by another company, and he simply will not do it just out of the sake of stubbornness.
Yeah.
That's the way he is.
Well, that's why I think somebody sort of like brought it up and just sort of like, hey Vince, I'm not really sure of this like 7-hour, straight show from beginning to end. It's like, goddamn, pal. Well, what do you suggest then? We're just sort of like, well, maybe if we split it over 2 nights. Because the thing is, they've moved the Hall of Fame to the SummerSlam weekend, and with regards to TakeOver, what they're going to be doing is from the 1st of April, they're just going to be the matches that were for that TakeOver are just going to be broadcasting them on the NXT TV show.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, the past couple of weeks of NXT have just been sort of like, they've been similar to the Raws and SmackDowns. There's been a lot of, long promo package, long sort of like history lessons or revisiting classic matches.
Yeah, so filler essentially, while obviously they're basically treading water at this point to get through what's happening clearly.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing they can really do. Let's be honest. Oops, someone spilt. That's probably Alan Piss.
No, I've just knocked over my vape.
But
Very
yeah,
top heavy. Just like me.
Hey. But yeah, I think WrestleMania. Not looking forward to it. The 2-day idea is good. Like that. Don't want to have not done it in the past. If it works, I can see them potentially doing it in the future, but we'll see. But yeah. I think wrestling does need a crowd. It needs the energy feedback for the talent in the ring to feed off, and potentially the more into it the crowd are, the better the match you get, and that it helps for people at home as well. So yeah, that's what I feel. You need a crowd. It needs a crowd. So anyone else have a topic?
I did, given that most of us are pretty much housebound. housebound, lockdown, basically.
Yep.
There's going to be more a case of what you're going to be filling your day with. And, a lot of mine, I'd say a lot of Alan's especially, is...
You're trying to say that I'm 2 years old?
If you let
I'm
me
doing my
finish.
colouring books.
If you'd let me finish. No, most of our time is spent watching stuff on streaming services, whether it be Netflix, whether it be Amazon Prime, or anything, or
Disney Plus.
especially recently Disney Plus, which Alan has kindly allowed himself and Matt to access his login. Case in point, Matt earlier on was just sort of going through, and he remembered classic, not very well known animated film, but it's one that was near and dear to my childhood, Oliver and Company. And that's literally just sort of like one of a lot of things in your in the archives. But what I was just wondering is if there was, given that we're in a lockdown, we're going to be in this position for at least the next 12 weeks. Now would be sort of like an ideal time of just sort of like going to a particular series or, a particular set of movies that you've just been sort of like, do you know what, I've been meaning to go through that, or just sort of like been meaning to watch that, but I've never really, had the time or the motivation to really, sit back and watch this particular program or movie or whatever. So my question to you is there a particular series that you've been meaning to get to, but for whatever reason you just haven't?
None, because I watch everything I want to watch.
Well, I know you fucking...
There is literally a show Peter appears that I want to watch. I'm watching that. I end up watching it.
I have a few, actually. And I mean, I've got a lot, actually, because I'm not really one for watching TV. I tend to if I choose either watch something, unless it really grips me, I'm not bothered. So the only two things I've really gotten into has been stuff like The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And they're really the only things I've really gotten into. And I mean, I got into them late as well.
You need to watch The Witcher.
I've watched The Witcher.
Yeah.
The Witcher was fucking amazing. To the point it got me playing the game again. Now, stuff I haven't seen, and I've wanted to go and see. Now, I remember when it first came out, I wanted to watch Boardwalk Empire. And I never got round to watching that, so there was that. And I've also not seen Breaking Bad. So
I always struggle with Breaking Bad. I remembered like the couple of times that I have tried getting into it. I got sort of like halfway through season 2 and I just thought, yeah, it's not really for me. But it's constantly one of those series that at the back of my mind is just like, I will get to that.
yeah,
I definitely will get to that. Like for me at the moment, I've been I'm currently downloading series of Westworld.
Oh yeah.
I hear that's really good. And I'm also downloading the drama show Chernobyl because I hear that's really good. I hear that's really good as well.
I've only watched the first episode and it was good, but I never got round to it.
So good.
And the third thing that I'm in the process of downloading at the moment is classic Doctor Who, because I remember when Doctor Who was revived in 2005, and I remember getting into it, and I really, really liked the series with Christopher Eccleston, and I don't think I got through David Tennant's first season. And then, say probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I'd just got back into sort of like a rewatching spree, and I've pretty much seen all of modern day Doctor Who. And I always meant to sort of find a way of watching classic Doctor Who, because obviously I'm missing out on sort of the Tom Baker stuff, stuff from the 80s and, all that is apparent, like quintessential Doctor Who watching. So literally, I found a good old torrent, as one to do, and I've pretty much got like the William Hartnell era downloaded, and I'm literally just going to go doctor by doctor, since I've got plenty of time on my hands, and that's one of the things that I'm going to be going through.
Yeah.
So with me, is because I got Disney Plus. So the geek that I am, I'm going through all of Clone Wars again, Star Wars Clone Wars. So I'm smashing all them back out. As soon as I've done that, Rebels is getting hit again.
Yep.
Because it has to be done.
I'm about halfway through season 5 of my rewatch because I started quite early.
Yeah. So I've got that to do. I'm going to rewatch The Mandalorian again once it all finally comes back out, because they only released 2 episodes because it was an American release. So everyone in the UK that watched it on torrent sites.
Yep.
So
so was included.
Right, yeah. So it's like, right, okay. So I was a bit annoyed when I was thinking, I could watch all 8 episodes. Yeah, that's going to be great. Turn on, there's only 2 there. It's like, fuck's sake. So we'll wait for that. I've got Picard to finish off, which is the last episode of this season this Friday. What else am I going to want to watch again? Well, I don't know yet. Just see what other catches my fancy. Well, I fancy rewatching that. Carnival. So Carnival was a like early 2000s show, similar to like Boardwalk Empire and all that jazz for the Sky Atlantic, but for Sky at the time, based around a carnival, and each have like special gifts, and it's all based in like the 1930s and everything that happens around there, and it's quite supernatural and all that jazz. So yeah, that's me sorted.
See, I'm contemplating rewatching the Lord of the Rings trilogy and The Hobbit back to back, sort of thing.
I do that once a year. I literally do that once a year.
I need to do it. I've not done that since when the missus was pregnant. So with my little lad. So,
what I tend to do once a year as well is like watch all the Star Treks, so all the films, and there's like 9 of them now. That's excluding the 3 new ones. So yeah, I tend to go through all that. That's pretty good fun. And of course the obituary Star Wars, but I only do that on May the 4th. So try and do that in one go. But yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I mean,
what about you, Anthony?
Go on, Ant.
I've been watching, because I read it recently, westerns, Good and Bad and the Ugly, for example. Clint Eastwood, very, very old school. And because I find it, I've never been into Star Trek. Never, ever, ever. I have tried. I've sat down. I've even tried to watch the new Picard. Is it Picard?
Picard. Yeah.
I've even tried to watch that, and it's something I simply can't. I want to, but I can't. And
you know what my trick would be? Watch the new ones.
Yeah.
So watch the one with Chris Pine's in, and you'll get into that. And I'll be you hooked. I'll put my money on it.
Yeah, I hope. Well, something for me to do tomorrow, isn't it?
Because it still has the feel of the old ones, but something fresh and something different. So
I found myself very disappointed by Star Wars, the last one. I felt it petered out, but just kind of like it was just like it just ended. It was like bleh. Oh, it's ended. Oh, that's nice. I got that feeling that I didn't get that. Oh my god, that eventual orgasm of relief and excitement, and
the last film was literally based for nostalgia. That was it.
Yeah.
The trouble with the last film is the fact that so many articles come out online explaining stuff that the film didn't is evidence enough that it was a problematic film.
Yeah, it's a very poor ending I don't want to say it ruins the whole thing for me, but if I was to watch all the movies one by one, I'd probably get up to the last one and think, do I want to watch this?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's understandable.
Yeah.
It is understandable. And it's not so much of a loss because, the likes of the Clone Wars, the Rebels, the animated series, and the Mandalorian.
The animated series really make it. I love the Clone Wars. I think it's fantastic. I don't. It's one of those things that I didn't expect myself to get into it, but it's like with Dragon Ball Z with me. That's something I've got into recently as well.
Yeah. I
watched the I can't remember what the name of the film called, but it's the one with Beerus in. And his introduction into it, and that's probably the first interaction with Dragon Ball Z I've had in my life, really. And now I find myself playing the games, watching the series when and if I can. And yeah, it's just something I've got into. I'm very scatterbrained like that recently. Yeah. I'm very, very scatterbrained. 1 minute I'm watching Clint Eastwood shoot some Mexicans. The next minute I'm watching Goku beat up some fucking cat-looking cunt.
Well, it's nice to have a bit of variety, I find.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yep.
Because I always make the point of just sort of like having something serious and then something that's, a bit of a...
light-hearted.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Something serious, something light-hearted, and I just chop and change between the two.
Well, it's just my go-to if I'm bored shitless is put MASH on.
Yeah.
Oh, MASH is a good show.
See, that's my go-to where I just sit there and goes, right, I'm fucking bored. Put an episode of MASH on in the background.
The 18 was always my go-to series. Always my go-to. I have every single episode on DVD. It was, that was my shit.
Mine used to be Red Dwarf.
Oh. Red Dwarf's a good one. I was working my way through through Frasier because Matt lent me the first 6 seasons on DVD, but I've worked my way through there, but I can't obviously go back to and swap it out because lockdown and that.
Oh god. There's one thing I'm going to probably try and get into now. Now I can. As you guys probably know, I was into my Naruto, as Matt is, and yes. I got to the very end of Naruto Shippuden. And for some reason, I tried watching the first episode of Boruto, which is like Naruto's son, after the events of the end of the Naruto Shippuden, and for some reason it didn't settle with me. I never got into it. I watched the first episode, but I think maybe 2 episodes, and I was like, nah. I left it, and then I never went back to it. So it's not like I didn't dislike it, I just never went back to it. So it's always been on my to-do list, like, right, let's give it a proper go.
To be honest with you, when you've had that time of, this particular series with this particular character, I sometimes find that it just sort of like when you go from that established character to, someone that's very similar, it doesn't really work if you go like straight from it.
Yeah, you have to give it a bit of time.
Yeah, I think that was probably the problem.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to go back to that. I did actually years ago as well start watching Dragon Ball Z, and I don't know, I stopped watching that after around about 35 episodes or something like that, so I could possibly go back into doing that as well. But I also
watch Bleach. That's like 600 odd episodes.
Well, I was just about to mention Bleach. I think I got into about 125 episodes of Bleach, so I've got that to watch as well. I mean, Naruto's got over 600 fucking episodes in total. If you go from the original Naruto right through to like Shippuden and onward, there's things like that. I mean, there's loads of places you can get anime, which is what I do quite like. My anime, just don't often watch it.
I always say if you'd sort of like, well, I mean, I dip into my anime every now and then, but for me, the best starting point for an anime for me would be Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah,
because it's it's an anime show, but it's not one of those that has an extensive amount of episodes. It's only got about like 20 odd.
I have no idea what you're all talking about.
Should have been longer.
I know of one thing like this, and is it Attack on Titan with the big brainy looking muscle? Yeah, that's my knowledge of what you're talking about. That is literally
Cowboy Bebop was a 1998 anime, and it started off really, really well. It wasn't aired that much. They only shortened it down to like 12 episodes, which was really annoying.
Cowboy Bebop sounds like a really shit DJ name.
No, he's a space mercenary.
Yeah, I sort of rest my case, really.
They're doing a live action. They're doing a live action series of that, aren't they?
Yeah.
Death Note. I remember Death Note. Is it Death Note?
Death Note was shit. To be fair, I did not like that.
Well, Death Note was ace. Well, so what I'm watching at the moment, Castlevania. I'm watching the third season of that, and Paradise PD, because everyone loves Paradise PD.
Is that the one where the boy shoots the guy's his dad's bollocks off?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, that's been funny, innit? And I watched that first scene and I thought, oh, this is going to be really depressing. But no, it's hilarious.
It's fucking piss funny.
Yeah.
And then once I've watched that new season of Formula One Drive to Survive's on, so I'll smash through that as well.
It's a great series.
Really enjoyed that.
If you want a really good anime to get into to start with, you could try with Legend of the Overfiend. That's quite good.
Urotsuki Dojo. And yes, it is tentacle porn.
Fuck you, Alan!
You see, that Netflix account also is shared with my wife. So, and despite what you think of me, gents, if questioned, I will utterly and completely throw you all under the bus.
All right.
And that is one angry woman you're going to be dealing with.
It's not. Urotsuki Dojo is not on there, so you're lucky. Well, High School of the Dead is. That's just full of tits. Watch that.
I'm across the sea, mate, so I'm pretty much safe.
Yeah.
Manda, if you're listening, no, so I'm not contributing to the tits. I am staying fucking quiet.
He's not going near anything Japanese now, just to be fucking safe.
Also,
I'm not going near fucking anything else. By the way.
Also, if you're after another show to watch, Altered Carbon.
Ooh, first season especially.
Is that cabin porn?
No. So it's based like 200 odd years in the future. Human society have figured out how to store your conscious in it's basically a chip, microchip. So all you do is change bodies when you die and you live again.
Be the equivalent of like a PSP stick, PSP disc.
This is sounding like one of Coxon's D&D campaigns.
Yeah, and basically what happens is this guy's brought back to life to solve a case, but you're actually a terrorist.
Oh, lovely.
Well, good. So
it's really uplifting, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's all cyberpunk and all that sort of jazz. So it's really, really good. Very, very good.
All right.
Bit of head fuckery because once you get round it all, you're gonna like, right, what's going on here? Fair enough. Well, hang on, what the hell? I just
Yeah.
You sound like a really northern Poirot then. Hey, what's going on here then?
Back in my day.
Yeah,
Some of the most northern of all of us.
You do sound like the most northern.
And of course, there's Peaky Blinders.
Couldn't get into that.
What? No.
Oh, I love Peaky Blinders.
Well, you know what ruined it for me? That there was the only people who were talking about it were women, and I've got nothing against women, but usually when they rant and rave about something, it's either got a man with his top off in it, or it's just full of men being really, when men be so manly that they're showing off that they're manly to prove something. It's sort of like that. So that's
I call it Johnny Bravoing.
Yes. Perfect. So that's what put me off it, really. So if you are listening, stop fucking talking about it so I can watch it.
It's good. I enjoy it.
I've never got into
yeah,
it.
that's my case.
String me the fuck up. I don't like it. No, it's one of them. Yeah, Louis, we can move on. Ant, you got a topic?
Yeah, I would like to talk about open world games. You mentioned Cyberpunk before. I love, adore open world games. I'm currently playing Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Yeah, I've got that. I need to crack on with it.
Which is a fantastically made game that's a very original idea. It's not something you can just... With the Fallout series, you got it's sort of like a generic end of the world sort of thing that they've got going on there. And I just, as much as I love the Fallout series, and apart from 76, which was an absolute dumpster fire, it really, really was. Hated it. So I went back to play Fallout 4. And I've seen trailers for Cyberpunk 2077. It looks really, really, really good. Something I'm really, really excited about. And for me, I don't get too excited about single player games nowadays because I think I'll play the story, I'll get fed up of it, and then I'll trade it in for something else. And that's what usually happens with my single player games. Hence why I buy the Grand Theft Auto, which has got online now. NBA, Madden. I buy games that don't really have an end, so to speak, because I think that I'm going to get me money's worth. Because I think if I spend 50 odd quid on a single player game, like the perfect case in point was a game called The Order 1886, which looked amazing, but
then you played it.
You could honestly complete it in an hour.
Either way, what's that, guys?
Yeah.
What in God's name's going on? What the fuck is happening?
I think the little one is disturbing Alan.
Oh, well.
Is that a euphemism?
No. Carry on.
Well, if I don't like spending 50 quid on a game that's going to be... that I'm going to finish in a matter of a week.
Yeah, I'm sat here nodding my head.
Well, I'm one of those of I don't spend. It's like the last game that I bought at full price that I've literally played probably a couple of times and I've not bothered since was Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, like if I'm thinking of sort of like single player games that I've gone back to, this Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order has been like so it's been a cracking playthrough, so much so that I'm literally just coming to the end of playing through it a second time, just because I've like properly enjoyed it, and I'm sort of like I'm at this moment in time I'm a bit like you, Ant, where I'll play mostly either a bit of Madden, or I might go on COD for sort of like, you know, smash out a couple of games, just going around shooting the shit. But bar that, I haven't really got any sort of big games that are sort of like a sit down or like properly invest myself in. As I say, bar Fallen Order.
I think the one last one I came across that I really invested in. Well, I'm playing one at the minute, the Kingdom Come Deliverance, obviously. And the last one I really, really took the time with was Witcher 3. I enjoyed that from start to finish, from side quest to side quest, to everything. And I think it was done by Project R.A.D. Is that my name?
No, CD Project Red, you're right.
Yeah, And they're doing this Cyberpunk 2077, which is making me excited for it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because I think they've obviously had the Witcher series for a while now, and The Witcher 2 was obviously fantastic, and they've obviously worked on it and built up, and they've sort of mastered this art of what an open world game means and how much time people are willing to put into it. And I think if you sell something like they are doing, 50 quid's a bloody bargain.
Yeah.
Because you're going to spend 6 months to a year playing that game.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on your work schedule, obviously. Right, as of right now, non-fucking existent.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. You're going to invest your time into it, and in all honesty, I think I played. It makes you buy the DLC or any downloadable content that they may release after. That's what makes me buy it.
Mass Effect.
Well.
I'm straight for Mass Effect. Beautiful.
Andromeda was an absolute.
Shit
Yeah, we
show.
don't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't talk about Andromeda.
I'm gonna argue for Andromeda. The only reason it gets the shit that it gets is it's got the words Mass Effect on it. If it was any other game, it would get half the shit it gets. Now, I will hold my hands up and admit I played it and then I put it down and then played something else. I think I got Project Cars and I ended up getting sucked into that. But I don't think it's as bad as a game as people make out. I'm not saying it's a great game by any stretch, but it's not as bad as people are making out. Now, when I refer to the Mass Effect games, I'm more considered 1, 2, and 3. Anyway, sort of like, the Shepard arc.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, that's what I enjoyed the most. But if we disregard the end of Mass Effect 3, then... Because if we're talking dumpster fires, that was a huge one.
Yep.
But other than that, it's I go back to them all the time. All the time. I mean, the Xbox is set up primarily so I can play Mass Effect.
Well, that's what I mean. Those games will last literally half a lifetime.
Yeah, easy.
They will honestly last you that long, and I think that's what makes a very, very good game. The sports games come out every year, and you can say, "Oh, we've got this new engine and this new thing that's going on," and they can feed you that bollocks, and it is bollocks. Because I don't know how many times they've sold me on a new feature on FIFA. It's FIFA. It's just got different kits. It's just got different players and different kits. It's the same fucking game week in, week out. You're not going to tell me otherwise that it isn't.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think I'm not going to poo-poo people who buy that game and obviously, play Ultimate Team and get it. Ultimate Team's a very good game mode, let's be honest. But it's the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. Be honest, if FIFA just said, instead of going FIFA 18, FIFA 19, FIFA 20, FIFA 21, FIFA 22, just say FIFA. Just call it FIFA. Stop giving it these different years. Because let's be honest, lads, you're sitting in an office for 8 months, not really doing much. They're probably not. They're probably just copy and pasting. And I don't want to poo-poo on EA or 2K or whatever, but that's their selling point, that it stays the same, that it is the same game.
Yeah.
They rely on it being the same game because people bought that shit once. They're going to buy it, unfortunately. They're going to buy it again and again and again.
Sorry about that, gentlemen. The little lad decided to wake up and want to go for a wee.
Wonderful.
What a selfish arsehole.
Yeah, that too.
I just think that when we get an original idea, like you see the Witcher series and how they do that, I want to see where Fable goes, if it's going to come back, because I like the idea of Fable as well.
Fable's dead. I'm telling you now, Fable's dead.
The thing is, I enjoyed it so much. I want it to, part of me wants it to come back, but part of me doesn't. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Kind of like the Mass Effect series. Yeah, all right, you're doing enough one, fantastic. Please don't ruin it. You fucking idiots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And I don't want them to bring him back, but I do. Even if you just did a remaster, I'd sort of be happy with it.
Yeah.
So I'd be very happy with a remaster.
Oh, you brought that round nicely, because I was going to say you talk about open world games that I absolutely adore. And what I took there is got to be Final Fantasy VII, and it's the whole reason I bought a fucking PS4 all them years ago, because of the announcement of Final Fantasy VII coming out, with the remake being released on the PS4.
All right.
And
all right. Guess what I'm playing on the Switch at the moment? Skyrim.
Oh, okay.
All right. Carry on.
But yeah, I ended up playing the demo about a couple of weeks back, and legit fucking goosebumps playing the game. And I tried to pick the game apart while playing it. I tried all the different battle modes. I did everything you could, and it was fucking faultless. Now, I don't know if it was nostalgia or anything like that. I went in a little bit concerned about the battle system in the game and things like that, and I'm like, I actually got my hands on it and played it, and I'm like, do you know what? It fucking makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But that's that done right.
Yep.
That's
Absolutely.
that. They've done it right.
Yep. And they're talking about they're going to spread it over 3 games. Good. Do it. Because that means I get more Final Fantasy VII, and I'm quite willing to throw money at it, because it is my game. It is the game that got me into gaming properly. I mean, I played games on the PlayStation before then. I even played Metal Gear Solid before I played Bleeding Final Fantasy VII. And I love Metal Gear Solid, but it's not Final Fantasy VII.
Mm.
So, you're talking open world games? For me, best one, Final Fantasy VII.
Because open world, though.
It was at a point. You could go anywhere you wanted to go, open world.
I
Definition.
I think once we're done here, I'm going to go and download the demo and give it a go.
You need to. It is fucking fantastic. And on that note, I think we should all go away, download that demo, give it a go.
And you two listeners, do it. Do it hard.
I can't.
And it sucks to be Alan because he doesn't have a PlayStation.
Well, that's the price he has to bear.
Xbox.
But yes, anyway.
Well, saying that, I can get Final Fantasy 8, 9, 10, X2, 15, and Tactics all on the Switch now.
But that's 10 too. I'd rather wipe my arse with broken glass. So
I've got Final Fantasy 8, so I don't fuck you.
Yeah, I've got the proper copy. I'm happy with that. But yes, we'll wrap it up there. I think we've done a good nearly solid 2 hours. So
Yep.
You got plenty of bang for your buck, even though we're free. How good are we?
So technically it should be 3 hours.
Oh yeah, technically, yeah. Why not? Fuck it. But yes, fucker, you thrown me. But yeah, plans for the future. We were planning a WrestleMania predictions pubcast, but obviously that's not going to happen. The pubcast will not be happening now for obvious reasons. But plans are in motion for some sort of WrestleMania predictions podcast. Details will be coming forthwith.
Or if we all get decent webcams, we can do a webcam podcast.
I've got webcam.
So we can get shit faced while chatting on a podcast.
It would work
with a camera.
It would work.
Quite funny.
I've got a camera on the screen of my laptop, so that might work.
Yeah. I'm game for you.
Well, we shall see.
Connect.
We shall see. We shall see what the booker thinks, and we'll get on to that because it's a lost art of wrestling. It's co-production, shall we say? Mm. So yeah, we've got that coming up. We've got there's different things coming up. How often we're going to do podcasts? Who knows? I'm hoping for bi-weekly at the, hopefully.
We are going to be bi. We are going
to get one.
I buy a lot of things, but weekly's not one of them.
We used to be weekly, and but we shall see. We shall see. You never know. I'm going to aim for bi-weekly. I'm not going to give any promises, but hopefully we'll stick to that. And then if it gets, it's not like we've got plans at the moment.
See you in 6 months, everybody. So we'll backdate it.
Backdate it. Why not? Fuck it. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Has anyone got any plugs?
Yeah, I've got to do a shout out apparently. So to all the Evolution Gaming's clan. Apparently they all wanted to listen tonight. So hi guys, you bunch of pricks. That's me done.
Oh, we definitely value your listening.
Absolutely.
No, they're a bunch of pricks.
I don't. I don't even know who they are, but fuck all of you.
Yeah, give us feedback whether
someone had to be the corporate stooge.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you fucking sell out.
Fuck it. Anyone else?
I'm the Gerald Briscoe of R.A.D.
Why not? Fuck it.
Whatever you say, Mr. Flinders.
Hello, is this thing on?
How come you guys eat laughing?
So, Lewis and Ant, have you got anything you want to plug or shout out?
Not really.
That's what I like to hear.
And
I'm not really sort of like media savvy in terms of sort of, voicing my opinion. I only really go there to look.
Fair enough then. Well, in that case then, you can find the UK R.A.D. podcast on all your good podcast catchers out there. You're not just on the one we're listening on now. We're also on YouTube. We're on Spreaker. We're on Apple Music. We're on Stitcher. We're everywhere. You'll find us. If you look for podcasts, you will find us.
We're in your room right now.
We're in your room.
We are there.
Yeah, you can find us on our back catalogue. We are there. You'll find us where lots of episodes exist. I think it's like some episode 70 something. I've lost count. But you can also find us on Twitter at UKRAD Podcast. We are on Facebook. Well, it's not very often updated, but we will try and keep on top of that. You can also hear my voice on the Lost Art of Wrestling and the Lost Art of Podcasting podcast. They are also on all the good podcast catching sites out there. Like Apple Music, iTunes, Podchaser, you name it, they're on there. And you can also follow, you can hear me if you go back a bit on the Gunpowder, Treason, No Plot podcast, where they are also on the good podcast catchers out there. And you can find them on Twitter at Treason No. You can also find my alter ego on there as Steve the portrayal, Steve the avatar of Poseidon. That's Steve AOT GTMP, where I tend to take the piss out of Bunkle's character Rogar. And yeah, I forgot to say, you can also find the Lost Art of Wrestling on the Lost Art of Podcasting on Twitter at Lost Art of LAOP Podcast or LAOW Podcast. I could be wrong. If I am, I'm going to get a bollocking.
It honestly sounds like the rest of us do fuck all done after that.
Yeah, I'm
you're not accepting an award, pal. Fuck me.
Shut the fuck up.
Shitty hell.
Right,
I feel like shit now. Fucking hell.
Right.
Gotta get all the plugs in.
Yeah, fuck you and your new successful things.
Right, so I'm also going to put in, you'll catch me on Friday Night Battlefield every Friday from 8:30 onwards with the Xbox One C crew, Friday Night Battlefield crew, and the Evolution Gaming clan as well. Running game tags, Reverend Albo on Xbox One.
Wonderful.
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery indeed.
It's a very good mystery because it's been funny. Also, we are expanding as well onto Call of Duty Warzone. Just thought I'd let that one though, because that's quite good fun as well. Battle Royale seems to be taking over the place. And it's free!
including outside your windows.
Oh dear. So Alan's going to be peering through your window anytime soon. And on that bombshell...
Oh, damn.
and on that bombshell, we'll leave it there. And so, I have been Paul SSF Flinders.
Fat man himself, Alan Morrison.
I have been the... What was the nickname you gave me earlier?
The Stowaway.
I've been the Stowaway, Lewis Ogden.
And I'm your girlfriend's favourite podcaster, the real Not Daz.
Thank you for listening. Catch us next time, whenever that will be. See you later.
Sarah.